You get your hair done and you go put your nice clothes on and you're just looking all right. Then somebody come and say, why do you want to wear that outfit with those shoes? Everything was fine till you heard that, and your whole day is shattered. It's like, I can't wear these shoes. Like, you start giving excuses. Well, I had these other pair of shoes. Girl, wear those shoes. Style and profile. But 9 times out of 10, if they're saying something, if they took the time to find the one thing that they thought would hurt you, then obviously they got the problem, not you. If those shoes aren't hurting your feet, wear them. And stand a little taller. And shake that pretty hair a little bit more and say, you know what? I know I have it going on, honey. Boom. Because if they can't hurt you, they'll find somewhere else to go. They'll find someone else to patronize. They'll find someone else to cut down. Because the battle isn't good if you're not reacting negatively. The battle isn't good if you're not hurt. And if they come and say, I'm sorry, they don't mean it. They're just waiting for the door to open again for them to hurt you again. I'm talking about girlfriends. Boyfriends. Guys' eyes rolling. What's she gonna say about us? Treat your girls with respect. Treat them the way that you really want to be treated. And don't go after a girl just because she caught your eye. Get to know her a little bit. You got time. Because you may not be a good match. Men get abused as well. Verbally and physically. Don't think I'm standing up here talking about just women. Men get abused. And men get hurt very deeply. Men hurt in a secret place. Because you're raised in society to be this strong guy. You're raised supposedly to not cry. You know, you're supposed to be just, this pillar of strength. But I'm going to tell you, the strongest man to me is the man that shows his emotions and go ahead on and cry when he's hurting. Because it releases something within him. It gives him more strength than he can imagine. It's all right to cry if you're hurt. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not all right to cry. It's all right to cry. But now to the real deal as to why I'm standing up here today. I was in a domestic violence marriage before I became a hostage. And I've been trying to get away from this guy for 8 years. He'd been stalking me. And he nearly beat me to death when he realized the only way for us to have some peace was to finally leave me alone, because he realized I was never coming back. These beatings was about making me come back. He would come into my home, pretending to keep the kids, and then stay. And back in those days, back in Yay Day time, I'm not going to say when, if you guess my age, you might have some idea. But back in the 60s and 70s, you didn't have rights as a woman if you had kids with a man. And if that man wanted to come see his kids, he can beat the living daylights out of you, and the cops get there, and the cops say, are those his kids? Then a man has a right to see his kids. And the cops would leave you. But now we're living in a world where cops are listening. Because now the graveyards are getting full. Not just of the women, but of the children. And some women are retaliating. And the graveyards are getting full of men too. So law enforcement is getting more involved in what's happening out here. If you listen to our news in the last few weeks, how many young people have been murdered by their friends? How many young people are experimenting with drugs? And this is because of households where there's no peace. So they try to find an outlet. So they go and practice what they see behind closed doors. Out in the field, say, I'm seeking peace. So they join a gang. They're looking for something to give them power. And lo and behold, a poor victim that comes in to the midst of that when a gang member has to prove himself. Just like Jan up here, whose son befriended a person in the neighborhood, and it was his own best friend. I try to talk to young people all the time to tell them, if a friend comes knocking on your door at night and say, come go with me, why? Ask 1,000 questions. And if he says, oh man, or oh girl, come on, it's going to be all right, we're going to have fun, don't go. You don't have anything to lose. You might be able to catch up on some Z's that you was expecting to catch up on the night before. Instead of hanging out in the streets all night wondering where you are and wondering how you're going to get home. Are you going to get home in time to do the things you need to do? The best friend you have is you. If you are not a friend to yourself, it's very difficult to know what to expect out of a friend. Am I telling you the truth? If you don't know for yourself what makes you happy, how can someone else come into your life and make you happy? That's too much work. When God saw fit to let me live, after the choice I made to save my children, I caught the guy molesting my daughter. The trial that set us free dealt with the rape of my daughter. And I almost lost my life to save my children. And in the moment of making that decision, I knew I was going to make that decision. I just started humming under my breath, Lord have mercy on my soul. Oh, Lord have mercy on my soul. Lord have mercy on my soul. Oh, Lord have mercy on my soul. Because I knew I was going to have to murder a man. If that man didn't murder me, I knew I was going to have to make a choice that involved death. We're raised to not consider murder unless we go into the military. That's the guy that shook the money out of me. We're raised to be thoughtful of another person's life.